Welcome back to PSS, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at an acoustic guitar. And not just any old acoustic guitar, because that wouldn't be very metal of me, now would it? We are taking a look at what happens to be one of my favorite acoustic guitars ever created, and possibly the most heavy metal of acoustic guitars out there, at least one of them. Today we're taking a look at the Ovation 1778TX-5, I believe is the official term for this thing. Mid-depth. It's pretty thick. Ovation is known for some pretty spectacular acoustic guitars in terms of sound and design. This one in particular has a full carbon fiber body. A lot of their guitars have like a real wood, finish on top, and then they'll have carbon fiber on the back that's really contoured and stuff. They're known worldwide from all kinds of different players, ranging from country to hard rock and everything in between, and overall are just a really reputable brand. A little bit of backstory with me and this guitar. I've been a proud owner of this thing for no more than about 2 weeks, actually, although I've been wanting one for several years. I've known people with Ovations and the different types of them. Some of them have the double holes here with like different patterns. I wanted this particular guitar, and I just never got around to ordering it because I really wanted to feel it and get my hands on it and hear the electronics before I picked one up. And just so happened that every store I visited just never had one for the past 4 to 5 years. So I run to my local music store a few weeks ago, just needing strings and some picks and whatnot, and got to take a look at the instruments while I'm there, and lo and behold, they had this thing, and I got them to price match Amazon. So for the price of $600, I took it home, and I've been very satisfied ever since. So I figure we'll take a closer look at this thing, talk about it, and I'll give you my overall feelings at the end of the video. So the thing that everyone notices right off the bat is the huge body on this thing and its slick finish. Well, not slick, but very textured finish, though it looks really cool. So it's, like I said before, it's made of 100% carbon fiber on the body itself, and it has this rough matte finish which just looks fantastic to me. It definitely isn't reminiscent of a Gibson Hummingbird where the colors and sunbursts just kind of make your eyes explode. It's very aggressive, but it's very subtle, and that's exactly what I was looking for in all my instruments, to tell you the truth. Another key feature is that there is no center hole here for your resonance chamber. It's all up here. You have a total of 3 larger holes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 smaller. And a lot of people would think that, this would compromise the sound, but to me it sounds better than most acoustic guitars do. And that's because of just some of the, because of the way the inside is shaped. You can look online. I'm not going to cut this thing open to, to show you the contours and whatnot, but it's braced very well, and it has a really unique shape on the inside to, give it the full sound it does have. I'm really a fan of how well this thing carries. We have a pretty standard bridge here, nothing really special. It is easy to change strings on, I have before, so really no complaints about that. Switching to the back, you can see just how rounded this thing is. Ovation does make a couple different guitars that are more contoured to your body, you can hold up close. This thing kind of, you got a few inches. I think that its thickest point measures about 5 inches, so if you have a guitar rack or a guitar stand that's close to a wall, it need at least that much space. I think most standard guitar racks have like 5.5 on the ends and like 5 in between, but if you're running mostly electrics, you might want to consider that for this particular instrument. Also have this little kind of notch here that you can unscrew and take out. I'm assuming this is for maintenance and to access electronics. I've not taken it out because I haven't needed it. We have the input jack over here for when you run electric. You got your strap, knobs there and there. For the fretboard, we are running just standard rosewood with no inlays. I'm over inlays when it comes to decorative stuff. I just don't use them. I barely look at the white tabs on top of the binding, so it's like I prefer instruments that don't have them. It just, I don't know, like I said, it's one of those subtle but aggressive things I really like about this guitar. A total of, I believe, 22 frets on its highest. It does have this really cool angular sweep. I doubt you'll be needing 22 frets on the the lower strings. The cutaway, also really easy access for your hands to reach. Works very nicely if you do need to reach up that high, and you can with good intonation at that. The neck is what looks to be 2-piece, maybe 3-piece maple. It looks like 2 from down here where it's joined to the body. This neck feels more like it should belong on an electric guitar more than an acoustic guitar. I really love the feel of this thing. It kind of feels like a thinner Stratocaster, Telecaster neck. It's kind of C-shaped, but it's not bulbous in the center. It's really smooth, really slick. You can do a lot of good runs on this neck without any issue. So I highly recommend any acoustic guitar from this point forward, just based on this experience, to not have finish on it. You know, obviously this has some type of clear coat to protect the wood underneath, but I'm done with lacquered necks because I can just run so much faster on this thing. It doesn't gum up or anything of that sort. Really happy with that. We have a really cool shaped hammerhead, I guess is what you would call it, headstock that is still maple but has, you know, black to match the body where the tuning machines are, but it cuts off back to standard maple there. It really ties together the guitar. Looks really cool. On the back, see, he's crafted in Korea. I think there used to be some that were made in America. I don't know that they are at all anymore, but that could have been, you know, so long ago that it's completely irrelevant at this point. And I still have the, it appears, the little plastic protecting things on that, as well as the electronics, because it doesn't bother me. So I'll leave them on for now. One big reason I purchased this guitar was the electronics. Now, it sounds amazing unplugged. It, you know, carries really well, but something I wanted was for, you know, if I do live performances, you know, if I'm playing around with recording or whatnot, I want something that has a really fantastic preamp, you know, EQ on board. It's something that sounds good plugged in, and Ovation definitely delivers. This is something that is really part of their strong suit, something they're very familiar with, and to me, they have the best sounding plugged in guitars. They have a very specific sound, and you probably tell if you put them up against different guitars. Some people don't like it. It's polarizing, I feel. It has a very plasticky, upfront pick to it. I can't really describe it with words other than it sounds wet and saturated, and some people may not like that. It may sound unnatural to them coming from an acoustic instrument. I love it myself. You can always shape the sound afterwards. So, taking a look at the onboard electronics here, we have a built-in tuner, which works really well, by the way. Generally, the onboard tuners I've owned in the past for acoustics were pretty much useless. This thing is dead on the money every time, so I've been really happy with it. You have an EQ that you can bypass, or pre-EQ rather, that will kind of give you a mid-scoop and give you a more, I would say, modern production sound. It's very much suited for, you know, rock, I would say, for country and less heavy types of music. I generally keep it off to give more mid-range, but it sounds fantastic either way. You have the gain on your pickup as well as the, you know, main EQ. I tend to keep everything leveled, maybe a little bit more on the high, maybe a little scoop on the mid, maybe a little bit more on the low, but it doesn't need a whole lot more than centered. It sounds really good from there. It just depends on, you know, if you're recording it and you need, or you're playing live and there's something in the mix that's dominating a certain frequency, it's there for that purpose. But either way, it sounds great in all modes. So it looks cool, it plays really well, but none of that is worth a damn unless it actually sounds good. So don't take my word for it. Let's listen to some samples through a condenser microphone acoustically, as well as plugged in with the pre-EQ, engaged and disengaged, and we'll throw in some effects and in a mix so you can get the live experience as well. that's basically the Ovation 1778TX in a nutshell. I've been really happy with this guitar. I think for $600, it kind of nails the price point for what I was looking at. It far exceeds my expectations for a $600 instrument. It sounds really good. It's really full, unplugged, but it has amazing potential for live stuff. I played it through a decent PA system. I played it through crappy speakers, and it even sounds good there. And I'd really love to play it in a bigger area to see how well it fills up bigger speakers and that sort of thing. But from my experience so far, I could not be happier with this. I think Ovation's kind of made a name for themselves with their different players from anywhere from, like I said, country to heavy metal. Mick Thompson from Slipknot I know plays one that has like a black neck and stuff, and 7 across, which looks really cool. So I think they're a trustworthy brand. This guitar has been around a while. This is not a new instrument by any means. So you can always go look at other people's work if you don't believe me. So recommendation, unless you play something like folk music or bluegrass, in which case I would definitely want a more natural wood guitar. You kind of want those natural tones if you're playing alongside mandolins and banjos and violins, that sort of thing. Fiddles, if you're into that nomenclature. Then stick with your Gibson hummingbirds and all that stuff. But if you play anything from, I would say, normal country or outlaw country all the way up to the most progressive types of metals, this thing fits in perfectly. You can always shape the tone to fit in any way. It accepts effects wonderfully. You can even do a little bit of overdrive and it still sounds good. So I give it full marks for the price range. I've been really happy with it. It's been a great go-to acoustic for just standard 6-string stuff when I don't need a nylon or a 12-string. So I've really been happy with this thing. Hope you guys have found this review useful. Go easy on me a little bit. Usually I don't care, but this is the first time I've done hardware reviews. I've had some experience doing video games and software and that sort of thing, but working with basically zero production budget here. So hopefully my crappy skills, or at least got the point across. This thing is pretty good. So we'll see you next time in whatever is the next thing I review that's new and I find worth talking about. And until then, thanks for watching. Go watch our other stuff. Bye!